As each of you have come here today to know and understand that as there is movement within the planet, as there is a change and an evolution and an adjustment with what is coming in, what has been and what is coming to the existence of the planetary constellations, the understanding of the human experience, and the earth overall as it is adjusting and shifting into what it is and how it is moving. It is important for you to understand that the timelines are speeding up, that there is more and more coming than what you even realize, and that as you say, boy, time moves quickly. It is moving quickly, more quickly than you even realize, as it is shifting and adjusting. For these timelines that were set are now intermixing, are now interchanging because of the decisions that are made, because of the shift in the vibrational planet, because of the allowance of other races to be able to come in and assist the planet with its raising of its vibration, with the adjustment of coming back into alignment with the universe. For so long, Earth was that planet that was not within a true alignment with the rest of the universe. It was there, but it did not allow for things to come in. It did not allow for the shift and change and adjustment as to where things were, where they were going, or what they needed to be. And because of that, everyone knows that you are only as good as your weakest link. The problem was Earth is the weakest link. And that is why we have worked to push that up, to move that. And you may say that is a bad thing, but it is not. Earth is a planet that is there, and that is a place where souls and spirits and energies can go to learn, to grow. And they have the biggest growth potential when they experience a human life on there. The elements and the energies that are on the planet Earth allow for so much growth and development that it is important to know and understand that as these things are shifting, as these things are moving, that you have that ability and understanding that things are coming in, that there is this understanding that the shift that is happening is truly great. For the duality that you can experience on Earth is unlike you can on any other planet. The duality allows you to see things in a totally different way. Because you always think, well, let me look at it from a different vantage point. And you see the good and the bad. You see the white and the black. You see the left and the right. You see the up and the down. All total opposites to show you the duality. And duality does not mean that something is good or bad. Duality allows for that understanding that as things are shifting and moving, it allows you to see it from another place, another point, another time. So as all of these things are coming into the planet, and as you are understanding that this shifting and this moving and this coming in is changing, the timelines are also having to shift because there is all of this newness coming in. As the new vibration comes in, as the new energy comes in, as all of these shifts are happening, moving, and changing, this is allowing for more to come in, more to be, and more to be centered and aligned with the total planet. And you say, well, if it's happening with the planet, what does that mean to me? Well, now I will tell you. So with each being on the planet, every energy on the planet, whether it be an elemental energy such as the earth energy, the air, the wind, fire, whatever it may be, or you as a being who is on the planet, it is allowing for you to also have to work to realign. For the energy of the person should truly be a true up and down. As we've spoken of the pole before, that it goes down from the earth up into the celestial that you move along. But for so many people, that is crooked. And as you need to have that in true alignment, to truly have that movement, that alignment of the body, the mind, and the soul, all working together as one, instead of working together as three. This is going to be even more important now as you are starting to move forward and as this new shift of the vibration and within the energies is happening. For if you are not truly in alignment as these timelines are starting to come in and starting to shift, it will be more detrimental for you. That is why you are seeing more illness happen. That is why you are seeing more pushback happen. That is why you are seeing more people decide not to exit the planet. It is because their vibrational alignment is not ready for what is here, what is coming, and that they're needing to shift. That is why you're seeing bigger swings with humans, that they're needing to heal, they're needing to shift, they're needing to change, they're changing their job, they're changing their family, they're changing where they live, they're changing what they're looking for because it puts them in better alignment to where they are. And you say, well, is this positive for everyone? And for most people, it is happening in a positive way. But that is not to say there are those that are doing it in a way that is not necessarily positive. They're fighting back. And that is where you're seeing the fighting back, is why there is constant change in this, why there is this shift, why there is the separation, why there is the grief, why there is the uncertainty, the chaos, the upheaval. Because when you have to work to realign, and it is work, it is not a simple process. And with that simple process, when you try to fight back or you don't want it that way, because humans hate change. We all know that. You know that. Change is inevitable. But everyone says, oh, I don't. I love change. You don't. You know you don't. And you don't say you do. And so because you have to change and we are making you change, the vibration of the planet and your soul is making this shift come in and happen. That there is more pushback and more fighting. And when you don't just allow it to come in and align, to work through all of that past karmic actions that have been there, to let that be in the past. Learn from the past, but focus on the future. That is when you truly can come into who and what you are. And that is when you'll be in a better alignment as the planet is shifting and as these new timelines are coming in. Does that make sense to everyone thus far?
Yes.
Any questions on what we've spoken of up to this point?
How can we realign? What other ways can we realign? I mean, focusing on the past karma. How do we do that?
So the past karma is coming up for you to heal and move forward on. When you can look at something in the past, when you can look at a karmic action, whether it be in this life or a past life, but something you have brought with you, when you can see it as an experience, when you can forgive and see the other person or the situation as a learning experience, as a mode for growth, as an ability to truly evolve, and you can see it that their experience is your experience, to forgive that, have gratitude for that experience and that growth and move on and let that go. That is how you shift that. And with that alignment, it is truly looking at things from more of a fourth and fifth dimensional level. And so this takes us into the thoughts that as the world is shifting out of the third dimension into the fourth, and as people are able to get into the fifth, and then it will be the sixth and the seventh from there. But the fourth dimension is all about looking at the concept of love. How each person, each being here is all about love and kindness and gratitude. And when you can see each situation in that way, when you see that someone does you wrong or gets mad or yells at you and you go, "What, I forgive you and have a nice day." That is when you have that ability to understand that as these shifts are happening, that you don't let that get you down. And if it does trigger you, you say to them, "I understand," and you go and you walk away going, "Why did that bother me so much? Why can't I see that this is their experience and their experience has caused them to come into my space, but that isn't necessarily what I need to feel or what I need to experience at this time." So you can look at them as a sense of oneness, that you were there to help them have their own experience, although you did not force your experience upon them. And as you are shifting that and as you are bringing all of this into one place, into one spot, it allows you to have a better vantage point, understanding and grasp of what is coming in, what is moving, and what is there. And so when you are working to come into alignment, it is truly focusing on ensuring that not only is your soul truly aligned with your purpose, with your path, and you say, "What is my purpose and path?" Well, that is an answer that we can give you later on, but it is truly about working within the realm of what your soul wants to learn and experience. It is also about feeling those energies that come up, those feelings. And as most humans do, they just push them down and say, "Oh, I don't need to deal with that. That grief is there. Oh, I need to get over that. Oh, that was bad. But I say I forgive him," although you don't, but you say you do. And that's what humans do. But to really sit within that energy of that grief or that hurt and say, "Why is this coming up? Why am I feeling this? What is this trying to teach me? What is my soul needing to understand?" And when you are doing that, you are using the mind and the soul together to better feel that. The same way that the body speaks to each and every person. Because the body is trying to tell you a story. It is trying to let you experience things. When you have a pain in a certain area, humans go, oh, I must have slept the wrong way, or I must have bent it wrong. Instead of saying, but what is this an energetic means that's causing it? When you go and you break your leg, yes, you know the leg is broken because something fell on it and it is broken. But you also need to say that that has a reason, but what is the cause for why that leg became broken? Did it need to slow me down? Did it need to stop me? The same way if you have a pain in your arm and you go, oh, I slept wrong. Oh, the muscle must be tight. You go, but what is my body trying to tell me? And in some instances, it just says, well, you need to slow down. So I'm hurting right now, and I don't want you to use this. But in other instances, it might say, you were constantly grabbed here as a child, and that memory is coming back. You need to heal that energy. That when your parent would tell you no, they would grab you here to pull you back. And in some cases, it could have been to protect you or to make sure you were safe if you were going into traffic or you were going to be hurt. But the little human did not understand that at that point in time. And so that is why that. So when you listen to what is happening within the body, it is telling you and it is showing you what is coming through. And as it is showing and telling you these things, you need to listen. Because the human race right now just wants to say, oh, it is just what happens to the body. The body tends to become, to some point, old, or it isn't as good anymore, or it has these issues. But instead say, but why is this coming through? Why do I start to have this large mark here on my arm? Why is this discoloration of skin coming when I never had it before? No reason. And we hear, oh, it's autoimmune. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. But the body is telling you something, either from this life or a past life, or it's an energy that you have pushed straight down, a hurt or a fear or an anger, and it's coming up. Because the true body truly talks to each and every person on a daily basis. But no one listens. No one truly sits in and says, but why is this happening? What is causing this to happen? And when you are able to do that, you are using your body, your mind, and your soul is allowing to speak too, because this is a connection back to what your soul has experienced before. And as you can heal these things and cure these things and allow them to shift on, or allow those beliefs or programs or thoughts that have been ingrained in you, either in this lifetime, past lifetimes, or ancestral, or at a soul level, you can then allow that to shift and adjust, for the human body then can then work in a better way and can be more efficient for each and every one of you. It is the same thing when you listen and give it what it wants, the food it wants, the minerals, the vitamins, all of those things it needs. When you listen to it and give it what it wants, it will work at its optimal level for you. When you don't, and you say, and the mind says, oh no, we don't want the chocolate, we need the broccoli. But the body's saying, but I need the chocolate. I need the chocolate. I don't want the chocolate for the sugar. I don't want the chocolate for the taste. I need it for the magnesium and the minerals and the things that are within that dark chocolate. And you don't give it, it becomes depleted. It becomes needing more. And it is all about the balance to understand when the body and the mind and the soul are all truly in alignment, everything will work as it should be. And you won't have the huge cravings where you're eating chocolate all day, every day, which isn't what the body wants or needs. It's just what happens to be, because the mind goes, well, we don't like chocolate. We want chocolate. We don't like broccoli. We're not eating broccoli. But we are all programmed. You are all programmed in a different way to understand what it is you need and have an understanding that each body is different. Each body needs different things and works in a different way. It is the same way every car is still a car. You get in, you drive it, you put gas in it or electricity in it, and you take it down the road, and it does what you need it to do. A body is very similar. And with gas, for a car, you all give it gas. Different brands, different types, different levels, different qualities, but it's all gas. The same way within the body, you all give it food. Different types, different kinds, different qualities, different levels. But as you know with a car, when you give it the worst gas, when you don't take care of it, you don't do the maintenance on it, you don't do those things, it starts to break down after a while. The same thing happens with the body. When you don't give it the food it needs, the fuel it needs, when you don't do the maintenance on it to ensure that it is detoxifying, to ensure that it has what it needs, it begins to break down. Does that somewhat answer your question, although we know we took a very long way to get there and basically a different road?
Yes, it does. But how do you discern if this is something from this life or a past life?
That is when you sit with that. And you truly have to go deep down within to your soul and allow your mind to get out of the way and let it come through as to where it comes. And know sometimes it will not come immediately. So, for instance, you feel fear and you don't understand where fear comes from. So, you sit with the fear and you go, okay, soul, allow this to come through. Allow me to have an understanding. And you have a thought of when you were a child, or you have a thought of something in a past life. And you may not know it's a past life, but all of a sudden you think of a woman on a farm 300 years ago that had an experience that caused fear. And you go, oh, that's where it comes from. Trust yourselves. Trust yourself to know and understand that when something comes to you, you don't push it off or say, oh, that is just my mind, or that was because I watched this movie, or I saw this on TV. Allow yourself to truly experience it, to bring it in, and to sit with it and know that it is coming to you for a reason. There are no coincidences in this world. There's nothing that happens that doesn't have a meaning or a push. Even when someone says, oh, it's a hobby, or, oh, I just happened to see this on TV last night. Nothing happens without reason, without cause. Now, there are times where perhaps it is not specifically that you saw that thing, but it is that there's more coming to you that allows for it to happen, that allows for more shifts to come in and more of this movement to happen. But that is how you sit with it to truly understand from what time frame it came. Is that helpful for you?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
In terms of knowing that we need to work to realign, part of that is to work out the past karma with the body pains and other things, but then also focus on the future. What specifically should we be focusing on in the future?
It is about moving forward. It is about not being stuck in the past. As long as you let those things that come in from the past, those karmic thoughts, those energies, and you're letting them go, as long as they come in and you shift them, you realign them, and let them flow with you, you will be able to continue to push forward in the future. What happens is people get caught up in the past. You all know of those humans that always live in the past. But why live in the past? The past is over. The past is done. You're not going to change it. You're not going to learn anything new from it. You're just going to fester and you're going to sit. It's like you might as well pull up the lawn chair and, and just sit forever. There's no reason to move forward then. But as long as you are allowing yourself to learn that when something from the past comes up, you look at why that's coming up, you realign that energy, heal that energy, or just remember that time and let it go back into the past. That is why there's that movement forward. That is why the memory of the past for so many humans is getting less and less. It is more difficult to remember because it is not about the past. It is not that we want you to forget the past. It is not that we want to change the past, but we want you to focus on going forward. For the past is there to learn from and understand, but it is not to sit in or keep reminiscing about or reliving again, because that is not the steps that need to be taken to move forward. And that is what you're seeing right now in so much of humanity, is everyone is going back to the past or thinking about that or remembering that or bringing up issues of the past. But to truly move forward, you need to let that go. When things come up, align them, heal them, and move forward. And part of that is understanding that when you heal an event that has happened, a lineage of energy, a pattern of energy, something that is continual. When you heal it now, you heal it in the ancestral line as well. You heal it back and you're healing it forward. So in a way, you are rewriting that history. You are rewriting that experience for your line to not have that karma anymore, to not carry that energy with them. For it will shift and it will evolve as well into what it needs to be for you and for all. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I do have another question.
Of course.
At the start, you mentioned that there's more coming than we realize, and time is moving faster than we realize, and timelines are intermixing. Does that mean that past civilizations are coming in, as for example, yourselves, the Druids, like Lemurians, ancient civilizations, angelic beings are all coming in at the same time and intermixing?
So there are more of those of us consciousnesses that are able to connect with the planet now. We're able to provide more information. We're able to allow humans to see things in a different way. We are there to support the human race in evolving and moving down this timeline and this planet. Each of us having something specific that we focus on. Even though we know the knowledge the others hold, it is not our area of expertise. We all have those certain areas. And so as we are bringing the information in, as each of us are bringing that in, it is allowing for all of these timelines. As you see many roads that mix, what they're doing is we're bringing them all together. We're trying to merge them as one into the timeline that will be written, into a time where the human race is not so much in the veil, where they are open, where they see, where there's not as much fear or hatred, that there's that understanding of what is here. And it will always be a planet where you will learn the most, where you will have the biggest experience. For there will always be free will. There will always be duality. There will always be that connection outside in that veil that is somewhat shaded you from knowing what is there. But there will be an acceptance and understanding that the human race is not the smartest out there. In fact, you're probably the least smart of all of them. But that is because the veil is so strong. That is because the human mind has been brought down somewhat so that it can have these experiences, so that the soul truly has to see what it's like to be in a shell. For each of your souls are in these suits that you wear, in that have this so dense energy and this density. It is why that you have to support and you rely on each other, and why you can't just live alone by yourself, because the human's experience is about being together. But because of the density, you want to be alone. You don't want to be there. It is why a human baby has that help from the mother and the support. And it takes so long for them to truly be able to be on their own. That is what the human experience is all about. Does that answer for you?
Mm-hmm. Is there a way to communicate with this variety of different civilizations, for lack of a better word, and beings from different timelines and different dimensions? Is there a way to work with them in a more profound way?
Listen. Allow yourself to connect. Now, each human will not be able to connect with all, as the same way that she connects with us, but she cannot connect to all of the consciousnesses that are out there, for that would not be within her vibrational alignment. But if you can allow yourself to be open to what comes, to allow the information to flow in, to allow for that movement shifting and changing to come through, that is when you can connect. That is when you will truly be more in alignment with where you are. For each of you connect on very different levels to different consciousnesses. But don't push out when a thought comes in, when you have a feeling that there is a soul or a being around you. When you have an affinity towards one, roll with that, move with that affinity. Allow for yourself to have that understanding of what is there, what is coming, and where things are going. For then, when you have that knowledge and understanding of where you've been, where you're going, and what is coming to, you will be better aligned with that consciousness, that knowledge, and that counsel to be able to connect with them. It is all about where your soul is taking you. Where you find that affinity, that connection, that is where you need to go. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Good. Okay, so this is what we want you to understand. That a life purpose and a life path is truly about where your soul wants you to go. It's truly what you want to learn and experience is the purpose. It is the why and the reason that you ever experience a human existence. The path is how you get there. And the path may slightly adjust or change based on where you are, the decisions you have made. So although people see them as one, they are two very different things that do have a lot of crossover. For the human body is of the earth. Every human says, I'm a spiritual being. I'm a spiritual being. I'm connected. I'm angelic. I'm celestial. What is true, partially true, that is your soul. But the human body is fully of the earth. It is of the earth element. It is from the earth, created by the earth, and will stay with the earth when your soul decides the body is no longer needed. And so you need to understand that, yes, you are an angelic being, you are celestial, you are spirit, you are that source energy, but you are inhabiting a human existence in a human body. So it is about the balance. As you see within the duality, as we spoke of before, the duality allows for that deepness of the energy of the earth, but the lightness of the celestial realm. It is again the two and the balance. So if you can live in that space where you can go to the earth, but you can also go up and you can move very freely between those, that will become even easier. It is as if when you are sick, you always have to go down into the grounding energy of the earth because the body needs the energy of the earth to heal. It needs that energy from the earth to allow it to rejuvenate and to regenerate. It is the same way when you heal with energy. You bring the energy from the earth up and back out again. And you pull in the celestial, because the celestial energy and the energy of the earth are truly the same. They're just slightly different in their vibration and in their makeup. But they are of one energy because they are of the dimension of the oneness. And so you allow both to come in, but that vibration and that density of the grounding energy is more in alignment with the human body. And that is why it's able to heal so much sooner.
Can you talk to us about, I'm going back to elementals again and all the various castes and kinds, but how there's so much of it is hidden anymore, and how we can bring the magic of elementals back to the children that live in the world today.
As the vibration of the planet increases, the elementals will be able to be seen. They will be able to show themselves in a better way. They won't have to mask or hide. As children have always been able to see them, but the adults or other humans have said, that isn't what you see. That isn't there. That is just your imagination. And they were taught and they were programmed that that was not something that they should do. That's not something that they should have or be there. And so they were able to shut it down. The mind said, no, that is not the case. But as the vibration is increasing, as the dimensions are changing, more of these beings will be able to be coming through. More of them will be able to be seen, for they will be able to be taught new things, shown new things, and allowed a reconnection with where they're at, where they're going, and who they are. For that is what is important to understand, that as long as you connect with them, as long as you believe, show gratitude, and allow them to show the way, that is what will allow. And do not tell a child they do not see it. For they do. They have not closed off their mind yet. They are still going between the two different dimensions and densities. Allow them to stay within that lighter place, and that is when they will reconnect. Teach on them. Do not say that is a fable. That is just an old story that was not the case. No, there is truth to everything that's in the world. Although much of it has been adjusted, changed, or recreated in a different way. But the only way someone comes up with it is if we give it to them, if we allow that knowledge to come through, if we allow that information to be held. Everyone thinks, oh, that is just something that I thought of. That is just a creation of the mind. What was it? Ask yourself, of all of the things that talk about with elementals, how could someone have created that if it was not given to them to begin with, or led them in a certain way? There is truth in everything, even if it is a shred, but there is always truth behind. And when we are involved, and the human mind allows us to take more of a connection, allows us to be stronger, even more of what comes through is truth versus fiction. What else do you have for us?
I would like to talk about some areas in England. There were some old wells on a large hill that were quite hidden that we were able to find, and many, many spirits were around it. Was this an old Druid site or a Celtic site?
It was our site, but although the Celts used it as well, for there was no separation back then when we were there. It was more of a culmination of different coming together. There was oneness, there was peace, there was joy, and there was learning among them. And so for many, many centuries, it was utilized in different ways. It was allowed to bring life. It was healing. It was a connection to all of the elements. For each of them are there, including the elementals you speak of. And as those connections were made, as we could all come as one in, and as that is a portal where the vibration is so much lighter, an allowance for the energy to flow through, there are things that we would do there to allow ourselves to grow, to re-energize, that many may look at as rituals, although we did not see them that way. But we saw them as a coming together, a place of gratitude, of learning, of peace, and of joy, to allow things to happen, to allow the understanding to come through, and to allow it to be a place of peace, of openness, and of experience.
There are so many places like this in Europe and in England. Are there places like that in this area?
In this area, it is much different, as the elementals were not as involved here, as this is much more an indigenous part of the planet Earth, where you go more deep within the earth, you go deep down. It is where the earthly elementals lie. It is where that indigenous energy comes from. And it is different because of that. You also have the places where other races reside, where that extraterrestrial energy you speak of can also come through. So there are a few of those places, but because it was not inhabited so much by the humans and inhabited so much in that way, that is why there is that shifting. Because when you have those places that were in Europe that you spoke of, many of us were in a human experience then, or we were teetering between the human experience and not in the human experience, which allowed us to move between the planes so much easier. We were also better protected. Where here, in this part of the earth, was all about the indigenous parts of the earth. It was about relying on the elements, the element of the earth to allow versus the elementals. And when you can rely on the element energy, that is when you have more of that connection to where things are. That is where you have that strongness. That is why you have that deep, denser energy here that is truly of Mother Earth. So they are here, they are just different in a different way. But there's a reason why in this lifetime you've chosen to look at both of them, They're showing you the duality that can be shown on Earth, that you have experienced before, but you are back to look at again.
It was very, very hard to go from one continent to another. The energies were so different.
Because you don't like this one, you relate back with the other one. It is where you've lived most of your lifetimes. It is where you feel more at home with the energy, the elementalness, the connection, the light, the vibration. For you to shift back and forth is difficult, but it is understanding that denseness that this land gives you and is now allowing you to shake that off. For when you can shake that off, when you can let go of what has come to you, you will come to find that you will feel that lightness you felt there, and you will feel it here, because the elemental energy is still with you. The fairies, the leprechauns, the flies, all of those things reside with you. You just can't feel it because the energy here is denser, but they are there. They are just seen in a different way. And that is the way it should be. But you can get there as soon as you can shed the denseness. Once you shed it, everything will come to you in a different light.
The changes in the fast timeline that you're referencing, is this all going to be happening in our human lifetime right now, in this generation, or will this be happening over a couple of generations?
The biggest change is happening now within each of your generations. This is where the culmination of it is coming to the crux. Now, it is something that you may not sense or understand within this lifetime. That may happen within the next generation. But if you are open enough, and if you look back and see it from that higher vibrational level, you will see it's already turning. You will see what's coming. For now, it just seems like chaos to each of you. The world is not sure where it's going, where it's coming from, and it seems to be going backwards. And in a way, that is kind of true, because as all of these timelines are merging, as we are bringing them together, and as there's this pull to re-separate them, we know the shift will come forward. In times, you almost have to go back. The same way when you look at from a planetary standpoint, that certain things they say are retrograde have to go back to go forward again. You can look at the timelines in that matter, but they are all coming together. It is not moving in the smoothest way that we wanted it to or expected. And know that we are not in control of this. We are just understanding of it because it is so connected with the earth, and that is our area of expertise. And as this shifting is happening and as this is all coming together, that you will be able to look back in your lifetime and see the shifts and changes. It is the same way if you go back and you look at what was considered the Dark Ages, which so many humans and human race say was the negative part of the world, that was such a bad time frame. We look at that is where everyone had to go down to re-blossom again. Look at after that time frame how much came into the earth. Look how much was discovered, how much growth happened, how much newness happened over those centuries after. And although the earth is not at the same place it was many millennia ago, it almost has digressed in certain ways. There is still that shift forward, and that needed to happen for the growth and the rebirth of things to come in. For the human race is not the same as it was a millennia ago. There is more of a veil. There is more non-understanding, but that is what we are looking to open up again, to bring back and to truly have that understanding of where things are, where they're going, and know it is all in a positive trajectory.
Is there anything else that we can do to assist with the shift?
Do not fight it. Allow it to come in. Do not get pulled in by old belief systems, by old thoughts, by the negativity that is there, by the separation that they're trying to cause. Allow yourself to continue to push forward, seeing everybody as one. Let go of your past karma. Let go of those things that no longer serve you. When you can clear out, when you can let go, that is only allowing yourself to propel forward at a faster rate, in a better way. And when you can allow yourself to walk down your path, allowing the universe and us to provide you with what you need, what you would wish for, and what will best serve you, it only makes the world a better place for not only you, but all of those around you.